Welcome to today's show. Today I'm going to show you how to use rubber stamps to create a wonderful greeting card. Also, this could also be translated onto your scrapbook pages as well. What we'll need to create the card is a set of rubber stamps, some ink pads, acrylic blocks and cardstock. You'll also need a mini mister or a water bottle for today's technique. The rubber stamps that I'll be using today are by Darkroom Door. They come in a tin, they are unmounted, and we'll use them on acrylic blocks. I've already put one of the stamps we're using onto an acrylic block. They have cling foam, so all you need to do is attach them to the acrylic block and then they're ready to be used. The ink pad that I'm using today is an Adirondack Meadow ink pad. It's a water-based ink, and all I'm doing is tapping the stamp onto the ink pad and stamping the quote in the top right-hand corner. Now we're going to choose a flower. So choose whichever flower you prefer from your stamp tin and attach that to the acrylic block. Now you're ready for stamping. The Adirondack ink pads are water-based, which means they will react with water when we spray it. What I'm doing first is inking up the entire petals with butterscotch ink pad, Adirondack ink. And I'm covering all of the petals so that I know that the whole flower has been covered. Next I'm going to choose red pepper. Now I'm going to go over the top of some of that butterscotch ink, but only using the very corner of the ink pad. So what we're going to be doing is blending the colours together. So just lightly tap some of that red pepper ink pad onto the flower. Next we need to ink up the stem. So we'll again use that green meadow ink pad and stamp up the entire stem. Now that we have all of the ink on our stamp, we need to mist it with water. When you're actually misting, just make sure that you've got the mister pointing in the right direction. The last thing, you don't want to spray yourself. So you need to keep the stamp flat. If you actually mist while the stamp is upwards, all of the ink will drip down to the bottom. So you need to keep it flat. Give it a couple of mists, usually 3 or 4 is quite enough. And then stamp directly onto watercolour paper. Now the paper I'm using is a 300 gram weight cardstock, so it takes the water very well without buckling. Now you can use other water-based inks for this process. You can also use water-based pens. So if you have other brands, they would work just as well. And again, using meadow for the stem. So ink that up. Once you have enough ink, get your water bottle, mist, and stamp again. Now the reason I stamped the quote first is so that allowed me the space to actually stamp the flowers. I knew then what space I had left. The rubber stamps that I've been using are my own designs. I've turned many of my photographs into rubber stamps, which I really enjoy using on greeting cards and other papercraft projects. All we need to do now is attach our stamped piece to cardstock to finish off the card. Stamps are a great way to actually use different techniques on your cards and your scrapbook layouts. There's a variety of techniques out there to use and experiment with. So I hope this has inspired you to start stamping or to create all your projects with stamping. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next show.